Welcome back to another episode of Hello Ladies, where feminism meets pro wrestling. I am one of your hosts, Sabrina Hannon,
I'm Megan Manley.
and we are here to talk some wrestling per the usual. Um, I wanted to start off with something. I don't think you saw this, Megan. It was going around on Twitter last week. Someone, right, last week? I think early this week. Yeah, because it was about last week's wrestling. So someone did a breakdown of all the time women's wrestling got across AEW, WWE, and Impact. And it was not good. Not good. So SmackDown had the most with 14 minutes of women's
Okay.
wrestling. AEW Collision, 9 minutes. WWE Raw, 6 minutes. Rampage, 5 minutes. NXT, 5 minutes. Impact, 4 minutes. Dynamite, 1 minute.
That was that squashed match with Britt, I'm assuming, right?
Yep. So it was a total of 44 minutes for women's wrestling, over 14 hours of wrestling television in those three promotions.
I'm actually surprised at WWE, to be honest, because Raw, especially, that for a while has felt like the women's show. So
Yep.
that actually really shocks me. I don't really remember much. You mean like last week's?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I that Monday, I don't even so SmackDown I slept through. I remember I fell asleep.
Hmm.
Um Monday, I don't I wasn't concentrating. I wasn't here last week. Everyone that listens or watches might know I was chosen to be a juror, which was great. Case was kind of triggering, and it was Monday and Tuesday, so I don't really have any thoughts about rocks. I don't remember any of it. I wasn't paying attention. I was kind of distraught a lot of that night.
Well, you didn't miss much in women's wrestling throughout the entire.
No, no, I guess not. I do remember the really, really fucking fast match with Britt Baker where I said, what the fuck was even the point? Like,
Mm-hmm.
at that point, just don't even have a women's match. Like, if you're gonna trot out one of your biggest stars in your company for a 1 minute squash match against enhancement talent, like that's gonna piss people off more than if you just didn't have a women's segment that week. I'd rather just not see a women's segment than go back to Attitude Era or like the era before we're in now. It wasn't was it still
Ruthless
Ruthless?
aggression.
Were they still calling it that when I started watching in like 2012?
I think so. Yeah, that was the ruthless aggression era.
It, ugh, ugh. Well, I guess that sign makes a lot of sense that they hovered on for quite some time last night.
Yeah, because apparently the camera people agree too.
Yeah, or production,
Yeah.
whoever.
Hint, hint. Tony Khan, Triple H, and whoever it is that runs Impact. I was really surprised at Impact because Impact's known for having like a great women's division.
This just wasn't a great week for women's wrestling in general.
Well, it's not like this week that we've seen like a huge improvement either.
I don't call anything from W. Usually WWE is pretty good. Did they have anything? Oh, they opened the show with Becky.
Yeah. And then there was the match didn't even happen, but Rhea Ripley took out Liv Morgan because apparently she is actually injured again. Um, a
Under
lot of
shoulder.
injuries are popping up again, like with both the women's division and the men's, at least in WWE. So
EW too. Scorpio Sky is injured
oh yeah.
again, and somebody else. I forget. I can't remember. I think there was two people that are injured there, and then Kevin Owens and Liv. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, so I mean, injuries certainly play a part, but I mean, you have WWE has such like a depth of a women's roster at this point that shouldn't affect it.
not quite ready to pull out the pitchfork for Triple H yet, because he's 98% of the time much better about
Mhm.
women's wrestling. It could have just been an off week. I'm not ready to yell at him yet, but I mean, AEW, I give up even talking about it at this point. Like, I'm so sick of beating a dead horse talking about how mishandled that women's roster is that I don't even feel like wasting the limited breaths I have on this earth talking about that anymore because it's not going to change.
It makes me so sad because like at this point, like they have the talent, they're just not doing anything with it. So when I see them, I'm just like, I almost don't want to even, there's nothing to get invested into.
No, there's no good storylines. There never has been.
Yeah. So, so yeah, I felt it wouldn't be right if we didn't address this at the top of our show. I don't know, podcast, whatever the hell this is.
Us just talking to each other and recording it.
Yes, yes. Um, on to other things. So we are recording on Thursday. Usually we record earlier in the week, but I was traveling for work. Megan had work things too, so life happens. We have to do things to make the monies. So, I so want to talk about though the dance off between Better Than You babies and or Bebe, guess not babies. And Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. And man, I would have given anything to see Ty's and Britt's faces during that.
Oh
Like,
no, I would have given anything to watch Cornette's head explode. That's what I still need to listen to because we know that somewhere Jim Cornette had a stroke during that.
oh yeah, yeah. And I saw so many things being like, oh, AEW is not sports entertainment. And then they put that up. And it's like, well, yes. But oh my God, I'm so glad that they did that because I've been saying forever how freaking weird it is that Daniel Garcia does that. So I'm glad it was like addressed in a way and in a hilarious way.
I don't know what part of that was the most cringy. Like, I don't know if it was the ending pose between Sammy and Daniel Garcia where he was basically resting his cheek on Sammy's dick, or Adam Cole, God bless him, with absolutely, I mean, I'm not one to talk, I have no rhythm either, but holy shit, I was like, poor Britt, because that man could not move his hips to save his life.
Someone had said that it's his Twitch dance.
I've never seen him do that on Twitch. Uh, I mean, granted, I don't watch him as much as other streamers because I watch, streamers on Twitch, not a lot of wrestlers. But I mean, I've watched him a decent amount, and I know I've seen him make that face where he has like a song that he really likes, where it looks like he's in pain because he's enjoying it so much, and he's like, but yeah, it's funny. I've never seen him get up and do that. I've never seen it.
I mean, it could have also maybe someone was trying to drum up views for his Twitch.
I don't know. I don't think he needs them. He has a pretty decent sized community, and especially he built a pretty decent sized community of non-wrestling fans too.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Sammy Guevara has also no rhythm. It was the most white boy dance I've ever seen in my life, which is strange. Um, yeah. Adam Cole like leaned into the fact that he can't dance.
I mean, let's be real. The only one out of those four that was actually able to dance was MJF. Like
Yeah.
he's the only one that you're like, okay, yeah, he can legitimately move. Like the other three, it was just I thought it was funny. I know that there are people that hate that shit. I I like comedy and wrestling as long as it's not like too overdone or like just too cheesy. Like that was cheesy, but in like a fun like I used to like Carmella and R-Truth's dance breaks too. I will admit it. Like I'm fine with a little bit of levity in comedy and wrestling, especially since they did that before a match that was called Blood and Guts. So, lifted the mood a little bit before I couldn't watch half of a match.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, and I completely agree with that. And like the match they had too was I mean, it was a good match. Like you knew you were getting something great out of them, and I'm very happy that Better Than You, Bebe, won. I mean, can you imagine not?
Yeah, there's no way
MJF
that
is
they were
the
going in.
champion. Like,
Yeah, not a chance that they were not going to the end of this tournament. As soon as they were chosen as each other's partners, it's like, okay, yeah, that's who's winning this. I mean, I don't think they're winning the tag belts, but
oh, I would love to see that.
yeah, I would, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we all know that someone's turning on someone. I think it would be interesting to have Adam Cole turn on MJF, like completely screw with all of our expectations and have like Roderick Strong and Adam Cole go heel and
Mhm.
turn on MJF and everybody be like, whoa, we didn't thought it was gonna be the other way. Like,
Yeah, I and get all the sympathy for the devil.
yeah. Oh my God, then he could start coming out to that song.
Yeah. By the way, I finally finished my the big dill pickles of MJF's,
Oh,
and then immediately got more pickles and shoved them into the or not cucumbers, small cucumbers, and shoved them in.
oh, cool.
I'm making more in my refrigerator now. Not that anyone cares, but you now have that information.
Those
Um,
poor garlic ones, are they just rotting away?
no, they're not just rotting away. I just the night of the moonshine, I had a lot of pickles, which I think is one of the reasons actually, while I had acid reflux the next day, I didn't have like a terrible hangover because
You
pickles
don't
are
say.
supposed to be really good for you. Right? It was bad. It was a bad time. Oh, oh,
Moonshine and pickles, acid reflux. Really?
shocker. I know, right?
Surprise Pikachu face.
Oh, it was, yeah. And at like midnight too, I think is when we were eating them.
You're fucking degenerate.
I'm a menace. Drunk Sabrina is a menace to society and to herself.
Mostly to yourself.
Yeah. Well, so there's this fun thing that happens. So sober Sabrina does not like to tell lies. It's too much to deal with. I'm terrible at doing it. There was that whole thing where my friend was pregnant and I was asked not to tell anyone for several months and it was very hard, very difficult. Anyway, then but like Buzz Sabrina is someone that you can like wire up to like do things and like get into trouble. Drunk Sabrina loves to tell lies and let chaos unfold. So, yeah.
I've met drunk Sabrina then, I'm guessing, when you were trying to convince me that you and Bob Hannon were brother and sister, and I'm like, nah. Like,
Oh no, that was just something that I forget how that started. Oh, no, I know exactly how that started. What's his face? Connor at when he were yeah. Um Bob said it to him like just to convince, and he believed it. And so it became this running gag. There are people who still believe that we are siblings.
I
Twins.
not
Twins.
not a fan of Connor.
Yeah, I know.
Not a fan. I think my brother still hangs out with him, and I'm like, please get new friends. But
Well, hopefully he doesn't listen to this podcast. I doubt he does, but
I don't, A, I don't give a shit, and B, he's fully aware of how I feel about him.
gotcha.
Yeah, I blocked him, and he knows I'm not a fan.
Fair enough. So the blood and guts match itself, um, I think I like that they gave it as much time as they did. Like basically they gave it the hour,
Yeah.
which makes, I mean, you gotta really. And it was a great match. Again, I hate anything that has to do with glass going into skin, so I could have lived without that.
Yep, yep, yep. And then watching BT on that following Monday and seeing Kenny Omega's back. Like, holy shit. He I know he made a comment saying he was getting too old for this shit. I'm thinking, yeah, yeah, you are. Like, we're about the same age, and you're not gonna find me rolling around on fucking glass. Like, you don't need
Or a
they
bed
don't
of
need to do the death
nails.
matches. Oh my god, the bed of nails. Oh god. Ugh. And then Ibushi, like, just diving backwards into thumbtacks after the match was over because LOL, why not? Like, ugh,
Omega just like taking them out of his back. Doo,
I
doo.
couldn't look at that. I couldn't. I that Did you watch BT? So that's how it opened. Like,
Mhm.
and I saw that and I went, nope, couldn't do it. No, no, no. I I'm very glad that the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club that their feud is at an end because I'm really sick of not being able to watch Elite matches for more than like 5 minutes before the glass or the thumbtacks or the fork or the screwdriver or the hatchet, whatever the hell that they have. Like,
Mhm.
I would like to watch Kenny in a match. That'd be nice.
There was one moment where both Megan and I almost threw up, and that would be where surprise, surprise, John Moxley left a bloody kiss on the camera. And
Ugh.
ugh. Also, like, the man needs to stop bleeding, because they catch him on camera doing it all the time. And
Yeah,
like at one point, there was just a ton of blood on him. And it's like, we know you, like, nothing happened to you. What are you doing?
yeah. What was it? You or Brian, one of you said to me, like, how is Mox bleeding more than anyone else in this match when he wasn't the one being stabbed? Like, he was
Mhm.
doing the stabbing.
Yeah, yeah,
I did get worried about Nick Jackson. There was that one spot where he kind of fell wrong in between the ring and the cage and he like screamed and I
yeah,
was like, oh my god, did he just like break his thigh bone or something? Like, it looked
yeah,
scary. Thankfully he was okay, but he really scared the shit out of me. I thought he was legit hurt.
yeah. Um,
Oh, also, I think fun fact I heard that this is the first blood and guts match that they've had that there has been no like real injuries. Like, because Jericho had the elbow broken the one year. Who got hurt? Santana is still gone from the what was it, an Achilles tear or something that he had last year's. We haven't seen Santana since then. And is this the third one that they've done? I think so. So yeah, it's the first one that they didn't have a real injury.
yeah. Um, I thought it was interesting that how it played out too, that like Pac first abandoned the Blackpool Combat Club. And then of course, Callis had to pull his boy out when it was clear it was going sideways, just
Yeah.
leaving three of the members there. So I and I said this to Megan because like watching Blood and Guts earlier that day, I did a training on traumatic brain injuries and strangulation and how like the lifelong effects and how deadly like strangulation can be. And then I'm watching Blood and Guts, and what happens? Wheeler Yuta has a chain wrapped around his throat. Like, I was like, oh, in those moments, I'm like, I get why people are shocked that I like wrestling. I get it.
I, they kind of dropped the ball on that ending because they did not show Mox tapping out for Wheeler Yuta. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even realize what happened. I'm like, did they just stop the match because he passed out? I'm like, did they stop a blood and guts match? Because I had no idea that Mox was, well, I mean, I knew he was handcuffed, but didn't know that he like tapped out to save Wheeler Yuta, which they should have shown because, oh my God, what a fucking ending. Like they obviously care about each other within the Blackpool Combat Club that much that Mox tapped out for a member of the team and they didn't even show it.
Yeah.
Their production needs to get their shit together because even still 4 years later, they are still missing key moments or like showing something that doesn't matter or
Catching
they,
Moxley blading every match.
yeah, catching him blading or like a cameraman like moves in front of another one and like you're like, whoa, what the hell just happened? Like they need to tighten it up a little bit. It's been in the beginning, yeah, you could forgive it because they were a new company, they were learning, like it's 2023, they started in 2019, like they should get production a little more tightened up at this point.
I'm just glad that their cameras aren't shaky anymore. I used to get nauseous watching some of the matches because, like, I think someone who had the camera had a tremor, and I was just like, I have to take a Dramamine to watch this. It was bad. Like, I remember getting like waves of nausea just watching.
That's surprising to me because I felt like in that regard that AEW was a breath of fresh air as opposed to the WWE style where every time a move happened, the camera's going like that. Like WWE gives me whiplash and makes me sick to my stomach sometimes for it's not as bad since like Triple H took over more,
Hmm.
but holy shit. There's times I had to look away because they were ridiculous. Like when somebody would stomp, the camera's like going up and down with the stomping and or like punching and I never felt that AEW had that issue or was that bad.
It's been years. When I first started watching, I almost had to stop watching because of it. It was bad. It was really bad. So it would have been during COVID.
Yeah, I still like thinking back, like I still don't ever remember picking up on that. 'Cause I definitely pick up on it and WWE. That's a common complaint about their camera work.
Mm. Um, but yeah, there are a lot of wrestling fans who still have no idea how the Blood and Guts match ended. Like, because I've heard so many people, I've read people on Twitter and then also seen a lot of TikToks where people are saying that, Wheeler Yuta passed out, and that's why they have no idea that Moxley tapped. Um, because unless you caught that little bit that the commentator said, you'd have no clue.
Yeah, I was when I heard that, I was like, he what? Like he tapped. And then I saw it, I think on Twitter after about him tapping too. I think that's where I confirmed that I heard that correctly. And then heard it again when we were watching Observer Live. They were talking about the ending and again, like how it was missed. And it's like, why would they not focus on that? That was the pinnacle moment of the match. Like, I don't know. But I mean, aside from that, the obvious blading, and like what I can watch of it, I thought it was a good match. Like I had to look away when Matt had the thumbtack sneaker again. That no, I couldn't watch Wheeler Yuta being shoved into
Yeah.
that like it was. Um, Nick Jackson was fucking incredible when he first entered that match. He steamrolled every fucking person in there like a lunatic. I don't know how he still moves at that in his mid 30s. Like he still moves like he's in his 20s. I know it's gonna catch up with him eventually, but it's still so impressive to me that he still can run, jump, flip around like he's a kid. Like
Hmm.
he's so good. I don't know how people hate the Young Bucks. Like they're so good. That's a different rant, but Nick was really impressive.
everyone performed really well in this match. Like, I feel like there wasn't a weak member on either side.
Would have Bushi a little bit, but that could be attributed to ring rust because he
Rest.
hasn't rested so long.
Yeah. And it's not so much that he was weak. It was, for lack of a better word, it seemed like he was a little slow. Like the pace was a little slow with him. But yeah, definitely attributing it to ring rest on that one. But I still can't believe some people were mad that like he after like the show he threw himself into the tax. Like,
I'm not mad. I'm just why? Like why would you do that to yourself? You avoided that the whole match. Why would you put yourself through that? Crazy person.
yeah, yeah. I mean, to be fair, has anyone ever said that he wasn't a crazy person?
I still I if I went the entire match and avoided being slammed onto the thumbtacks, I'd be like, whew, okay, got away with that. What a insane human being. Like
Yeah, just a little. Um, I would say well, all their blood and guts matches are really good, but I think this might be my favorite because I was able to watch most of it.
I still think that the first one is mine. Even though there was the very obvious crash pad that Jericho is thrown onto at the end, I still think out of all of them, that's probably my favorite one. I'd say this one is second, and then last year's would be third.
The only thing I remember from the first one, unfortunately, is the crash pad.
Oh, there were, I remember there was a lot of crazy moments in that. Who the hell was hanging upside down from the cage, like bleeding? Like it was just
Yeah,
that one.
I probably wasn't watching that.
It was, I'm okay if someone's already bleeding. I just can't watch the act that makes them bleed.
Nope. That would not be how I operate. I can't. Nope. Nope. Once especially if it's on the face, I can't do face blood. Ugh.
I mean, if it's a lot, like a lot, I have a hard time. But if they just like are kind of bleeding, like just like some blood, like normal human blood, not when it's like completely red painted face, that's when I start getting a little queasy. But I'm okay with it. I just can't watch like them getting cut or stabbed or scraped or what the F ever.
Yeah, I'm not good with blood. Not good with blood at all. Even though I'm trained on how to pack wounds and all that stuff, my job in that situation will be to instruct somebody else how to do it because I will throw up in the wound.
That's not sanitary.
It's not. It's not. Although that's not what you're worried about in those situations, but still.
Well, an infection still wouldn't help.
No, no. They'll fix that at the hospital. Is this vomit in the wound? Yes. Stop judging me.
Ugh, I just had like a quick mental image and got a little sick.
Yeah. Yeah. I do know how to make a tourniquet though, so.
Nice.
Mhm. Again,
I
I will be of no use unless I can do it like with my eyes closed.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. That's like one of the major reasons I decided not to go full into nursing because I did like CNA work, which that's basically just like showering and wiping ass. Um, I thought maybe well maybe I should go like get my LPN or something, and then I realized that I would have to give shots and probably deal with like bloody stuff and like wounds and whatnot. And I was like, yeah, never mind, I can't do that.
Yeah, no. Everyone always
That's
thinks,
fine with wiping ass, but I can't do with a wound. Like
it's so funny because like I work in medical advocacy and boy oh boy, I can't do anything with blood.
I
They're all very amused by it.
mean it is kind of funny.
Hmm. Like I just nope. Nope, 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 nope. Well, anyway, is there anything else that you wanted to? Full disclosure, I have a migraine today, so we've gotten through my notes. So now my brain's like, I know I watched wrestling.
Yeah, you have green, and I came home to my street flooding and wading through knee-deep sewer water to move my car. We're recording late today because that's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just bummed that there was zero Elite on the next episode after that match. I thought maybe
The next
we'd
time,
see.
yeah.
Like, I know Matt's on vacation with his family, but Nick and Hangman and Kenny and Ibushi still exist. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just hear anything I mean, this feud has been going on for months, and that was the end of it, and they won, and then nothing. Like, no follow-up, no nothing, no, I don't know. That's another thing I have with AEW. I love AEW. They're my favorite promotion out of all of them. However, it seems like they'll have like a feud forever and like a big blow off match, and then like the next week it's like none of it ever happened. Nobody comments on anything. Like, they're not, someone's not on the show, or I the continuity kind of seems a little janky,
Well,
I guess.
this week's Dynamite was just weird in general. Like it
Very
seemed
meh.
yeah, seemed discombobulated. Um, I'm fine. Like the last match was kind of a weird one. And I'm pissed that Trent ate that pin. And as I said to Megan, like there will be hell to pay if next week if Trent also eats the pin. Like, oh. But anyway, I am excited to get to an Orange Cassidy versus Moxley feud. Um,
It's
it'll,
not who
huh?
it's not who I would have chosen for him to lose the belt to, because let's be real, it's Mox. He's gonna win the belt.
I hadn't thought about that. I
Yeah,
hope not.
John Moxley is gonna be the one to end his very long reign because it's John Moxley. Like,
That it should be a newer person, not
that that was my thought. I would have rather that, like, Hook could have been a good option now that he, got rid of the FTW title. I know he's still doing stuff with Jack Perry, but after that, like that, I Hawk, I'd be happy to see him get it back. Like, that's fine. I think who else? Swerve Strickland would be a good option.
Wheeler Yuta.
Um,
Even like if you wanted someone from the Blackpool Combat Club, Wheeler Yuta would have been a good call.
yeah, that there's just I I've I like John Moxley. I know you don't like him as much as most people, but I feel like we've seen him as a champion for a long, long time, a few times. I wouldn't mind giving somebody else a shot with a belt instead of putting another belt right back on Mox. No offense against him. I am a fan. Just I feel like other people should get an opportunity. And that would be such a monumental thing to do because of how long he has held it. Not even how long he's had it, how many defenses he's had. Like, he's had more title defenses than anybody else in the company this year.
Yeah.
That would be a huge moment for a younger talent to beat him finally after he had all of these successful title defenses. And to do that with Mox, it feels kind of a waste. We already know Mox is one of the best in the company. We already know he's a top star. Like, he's been AEW champion, what, 3 times? Like, if you count the intern title, like,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't need that to for them to prove that Mox is a top guy. You can do that to someone younger.
Yeah. See, I was seeing it as, oh, this is going to be another way to build Orange Cassidy, but it hadn't even crossed my mind that Moxley could win. which tells you what kind of world I live in.
Yeah, it's probably gonna happen. It's probably gonna be at Wembley.
Burn the place down.
No, don't do that. Wembley's the place I wouldn't mind seeing a show at some point in my life.
I mean, not really burn the place down, just with your mind.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Look, we all know how I feel about Orange Cassidy, best friends, Chris Statlander, they can do no wrong. Yes. Um,
Oh, you're wearing the Danhausen.
yeah,
That's
Dan
nice.
Townsend when he's around. Hopefully he'll be back from his injury soon. I just,
Yeah, I miss.
yeah, I just, don't want him to lose that title to John Moxley. I
Sorry
like
to
the way
burst.
I booked it.
Sorry to burst your bubble, kid.
Didn't even cross my mind, Megan. I don't know what's better for me to like know going in that that is a possibility or to have it just happen.
Oh, I'd rather you be prepared because I would not want to see if you were not. No, you need to be prepared because that would be a bad response if you were not. I can see the tweets of Tony Khan right now. I think it's better if you're already preparing yourself that that is a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first thought I had. As soon as Mox came, like as soon as that happened, I said, "Oh, I don't want Mox to be the one to beat him." And Bry's like, "I know." Like
Didn't even occur. Didn't even occur to me.
I could tell that you are definitely in love with Orange Cassidy because it didn't even cross your mind. And my first thought was, "Oh no."
Yeah, no. And like, did you see Orange Cassidy starting to do producer work backstage?
Yeah, I think I told you that.
Yes, you might have. Yeah, I think so. Um, yeah, this is, and when that happened, I was like, they're not gonna like transition him to be backstage, right? And because that would be the stupidest thing ever.
No, I think this is just an addition to
Yeah,
what he's already doing. I mean, he is getting older, so that's good to have that experience that he's starting to build up of producing because then, when he ultimately cannot wrestle anymore, if he doesn't want to leave the industry, he can slot right into producing matches.
yeah. I want to say, I think he might be turning 40.
Yeah, I know he's a little bit older than I am. What was it, 83, 82, or something like that? He was born.
He's 39, so yeah, he's turning 40. He was born in 84. So in
Oh,
May he'll be 40.
oh, we were born the same year, just very opposite ends of that year.
Yeah.
He'll be 40, do math, like 8 months before me, nine, something like that.
I'll be 40 in several years.
I mean, not that many.
Several
Oh, comes quick, Sabrina.
more than 3.
I was just 31 about a month ago. So
I always do that thing. Like when someone asks me how old I am, I always completely forget. And it's not even that I necessarily think I'm younger. Sometimes I think I'm older. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Last month, anytime I thought about it, I thought I was 33. I'm not 33.
I feel like the entire year I was 32, I forgot I was 32, and I would like tell people I was 31. And then like it hit like October, and I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm gonna be 33. Like shit, I'm not 31.
My friend's birthday in January, she turned 36. And I said, cheers to 26. And I went, wait a minute. Oops.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, I might be that old, but there are a lot of people that meet me that were like, I thought you were like 28 or 29, and I'm like, I know I look young.
Mm-hmm. Cheddar, can you not clean yourself right now? Thank you. Cheddar and I are currently fighting because he won't let me clip his nails.
Um, uh, Lily and Bella are still very not okay from the storm. They're both still kind of like chilling in their hiding places.
Mm,
Well, they were when I came up. I don't know if they still are, but yeah, Lily was still bunkered down and Bella was still kind of hiding and like doing her silent meow at me because she can't meow. So it's just it's so cute.
mouthing at you.
Yeah, but you can hear like the little bit of air coming out, like her really trying. And
Oh,
then when she like really, really tries and she squeaks, it's just I can't even do it. It's a high pitched like squeak, like a squeaky toy. And I'm like, all right, squeaker. But yeah, she was hiding too. It was a bad storm. It was
yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't think I have anything else that I wanted to. Yes, you do.
I just remembered why I don't remember Raw from not this past Monday, but last Monday. We lost power. Remember, we lost power like around just before 10 and didn't get it back until like after midnight.
Oh yeah.
That, that's why I don't remember most of it because we had a badass storm then too.
Mm-hmm. It's a theme this summer.
Oh, is it ever? I feel like we're having thunderstorms every other day.
Yeah. Yeah. I was supposed to have boat day on Saturday with my friends, but looks like thunderstorms. So we're gonna see Barbie on Sunday.
I need to see that too. My coworker and I were talking about seeing it. She was on vacation all this week. I was not there all last week. She comes back tomorrow. I'll have to talk to her about it because I want to go see it.
Mhm. Well, our Lord and Savior is in that movie.
Yeah, I heard. Oh, that tweet where Margot Robbie was saying how like people are surprised she's a wrestling fan, and her favorites were John Cena and The Undertaker, and like it was cool to be in a movie with John Cena. And she shouted out Bianca Belair, which was cool, saying like she wished that she had women wrestlers like Bianca back when she was younger, because
Hmm.
like how amazing that would be to see women doing the same things that the men are doing. And I can relate. I mean, she's probably around our age, so
Yeah.
she grew up seeing the absolute disgusting, misogynistic, horrible shit that women were put through in wrestling back then. And then to see people like Becky and Bianca and Rhea and like
Mhm. Yeah, she's
Britt,
33. I just looked it up. Margot
is she?
Robbie.
I thought she was a little older, to be honest.
No,
Not
33.
that she looks it, I just thought she was.
Yeah. And I mean, things that we have been echoing forever about how like great it is for like kids growing up today being able to see women when they're booked competing at this level.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the women are just as big popularity wise as the men for the right reasons.
Yes.
Like, not for the wrong reasons like they were in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, yeah, they were not the right reasons back then. I still feel like so bad for Beth Phoenix because she was just in the wrong period for her talent level.
Yeah. Yeah. um Anything else, or shall we end on our Lord and Savior?
Uh, yeah, I don't think I got anything. Yeah, there nothing really happened. I mean, Dynamite was meh. I feel like Raw was kind of meh. I Oh, one more thing. How fucking Dominic, being the ratings booster that he has been the past 2 weeks for NXT and
Hmm.
being the new NXT North American champion. I'm so happy for that kid
Yeah.
because when he first debuted, I thought that he was gonna flop. Like, I'm like, yeah, he's marginally talented and his dad's Ray, but he couldn't really talk and he seemed like he had no personality. And now look at him. He's the biggest heel in wrestling. Not even the company. He's probably the biggest heel in wrestling right now.
Yeah.
Got
I
his first belt.
It's his first singles belt. Yeah. Yeah, he I mean, technically maybe he can't talk anymore, like, but we wouldn't know because the second it goes to boo, just booed right out of the building. It's phenomenal. I think it was Priest who was talking about Dominic, and how much he has learned and how he's like just a little sponge. And like just like watching how like Finn Balor carries himself and like, or Damian Rhea, like he has learned so much just watching them. And they like everyone says that he's constantly like just getting advice from different people, like just whatever you have to offer him, he takes it and he applies it immediately. So he's like a very good student.
I'd be willing to bet that he is an absolute sweetheart. Like, I mean, his dad's right. It's like, how could you not be a gem of a human being with Rey Mysterio as your father? I I'm just so happy for this kid. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy that he is so over. I do kind of worry about if like when the time comes, because it's gonna happen eventually. Who knows when? But the Judgment Day is one day going to split up, which means he's gonna get split from mommy at some point. And I hope that like that doesn't kind of kill his career.
Yeah.
That worries. Because Rhea's fine on her own. Priest is definitely fine on his own. Balor's definitely fine on his own. We don't know if Dom will be fine on his own yet. And I hope that he does continue to learn and sponge and grow. So when that time does come, he can continue on his path to the moon.
Yeah. Just being the most hated man in wrestling.
Or end up being a huge baby face at some point. Like maybe they all turn on him and the like crowd ends up feeling sympathy, like Ray comes and saves his kid and then they're fine. Not a team again, not to team, because I think that would just be a massive leap backwards. But
Mhm.
either as a heel or a baby face, I just hope when the time comes when he's alone that he still does well. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of people are rooting for him. Um, and rooting for him as we're booing the shit out of him.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
Mhm.
fun. And I like how he's handling it now. Like he doesn't seem like it's getting him as flustered and he plays into it or just gives the mic to somebody else and then they talk and he's doing a really good job playing like the most despicable, slimy, cowardly heel. He's doing a great job at it.
Yeah, he's doing excellent at it. Um, and yeah, he's definitely like boosting the ratings for NXT. People are hoping that he's gonna get his ass kicked.
Yeah. And I noticed that there were definitely a lot of boos, but there were some cheers for him when he won. Like people seemed like they were happy. Mostly boos, but you did hear some cheering, like, good for him. I'll give him credit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I sent this to Megan, but there was a segment on one of the internet channels, one of the YouTube channels. I don't know if it was WWE's or not, but where Rhea Ripley sat down to answer some fan questions, and someone asked her what her favorite thing to do with Dom was, and she's like, "Ah, you know what that is," and then straight out said, "Fuck."
She's too funny.
Hmm.
She's
That that interview ended, by the way, with Dominic coming up and being like, "Mommy, I think you've answered enough of these questions," like walking off.
that is just too funny. I still get a kick out of the fact that he's in like this show relationship with Rhea and Buddy was with Aaliyah. Is that
Yeah.
that's her name? I just think that's so funny how that ended up working out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I also I was a little let down because like after I saw that, like everyone was waited like with bated breath to see the new asshole that the Acclaimed were going to tear Buddy, and he like jumped on him before he had the chance.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did.
Oh, I guess that's, I don't know how we didn't talk about that. Billy Gunn and his seeming retirement from the ring, which I was not emotionally prepared for at all. Ugh.
I still don't know if I buy that it's real, so I don't know how I feel yet until like it's 100% confirmed. I
The whole
I
family
don't.
is playing in on it with his kids. His wife is posting on social media about retirement.
Yeah, but it's not the first time that family members have played into social media for angles on wrestling, like
Mhm.
to make it seem more, shooty. I I don't know. I'll reserve judgment until I know it's real or not.
I don't know if Billy Gunn is that great of an actor because he was like choking back tears. Like you could see like when he was taking his boots off. So that
It's
was the
more
part that made me question like if it was
I didn't notice the tears because I was more focused on the fact that it was taking him 37 years to take off that second boot.
yeah. Yeah, I noticed the tears and the like because he was catching his breath was catching.
I wasn't looking. I was looking at him unlacing every single lace and trying to get the boot off and how to keep unlacing. I was just watching the boot. I'm like, this is incredible. He's spending a minute and a half of TV time just taking a boot off. Like,
Which is more time than women got on that show.
yeah, that is true.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's real, if it's not. Um, I can see it being I can definitely see it being real. Um, but like I think he's the last member of DX that is active. Like I think X-Pac pops up and does stuff every once in a while, but like I
Not
think
weekly.
yeah, he's the last active and like as I said to Megan, like I feel like my childhood was attacked out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know yet. I'm sure I'll have more feels about it if it's confirmed. But as for now, like I don't know. I don't believe anything I see in wrestling until it's confirmed.
Um, yeah. Anything else?
Nah, I want to go lay down.
All right,
I'm sure
everyone.
you do too.
Yeah. Um, well, this will be out tomorrow. Maybe I'll do some editing, we'll see. But we will hopefully be recording and get everything out back to our regularly scheduled programming on Thursdays. Um, and as always, in the words of our Lord and Savior, Jonathan Cena, hustle, loyalty, and respect. Yabadoo.